All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Beastars Season 1, Episode 7.
Okay.
God, I love this show.
I love this show so much.
The last episode gave us so much more to think about with regards to the world building and the actual society that this show is trying to present us as a utopia for carnivores and herbivores. But we gotta remember there are omnivores out there too. With Panda Man out there.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I love him. I love his design. I love what he is in the story and everything. I hope Legosi sees him again.
Oh, he'll definitely see him again
for the end of the season because we're halfway through the season already.
Yeah. The season is only
and I'm not ready to say goodbye.
We have the dark market in something that they've been introduced to. It was terrifying. It was also very enticing. And now we have Alba been basically brought into the story as a character who's also wanting to kind of stand alongside Legosi. Even though they're not necessarily friends, but they both want the same thing. There's a potential for a cool relationship there as well. There's also another new character that we got in Juno. Another character who'd like to be able to stand firm, but that's not so easy all the time. Right. Legosi did encourage her, and she did seem a little bit attracted to him because, there's a little bit of him kind of stepping in and being her kind of protector at that moment there, which is cool. So that's in and of itself a thing. Then
we got to see Legosi cry.
We got to see Legosi have that moment of character just realization that he's not alone in all of this. So that's wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Our characters are starting to grow in ways that are an evolution upon the growth that the play started. So now this is different layers getting added in here. But I would like to see how this all comes together as they all come back to the school and what's the next step from there.
Cold open with Legosi with the bunny mag.
That's true. The bunny mag is a thing. Yeah, just make sure to clean up Legosi because
oh boy.
Yeah, don't let Jack see either. Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this now. Oh, beneath the clothes and fur below.
Specifically beneath the shorts. No. Oh, dealing with the whole fish situation.
Yeah. Oh, new character.
Is that the secret? Ah. Oh. Oh my god.
Oh, they're bringing this up too.
Yeah.
The fact that she's like, those are my eggs. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Despite my delicate frame, she looks more like a bit of a thick hen.
Oh, good. Okay.
Take pride in what you do.
I love this character.
Oh yeah,
he's so earnest. Great. Calm down. Oh my god.
There were things that I expected this episode.
Right.
This was not it.
Oh my god.
No, your eggs were just moved to a different day. That's it.
Yeah. There it is. Yep. I'm gonna have to check that sign out later.
Just because it's Friday. Yeah.
Oh my god, the fact that this is just an episode that...
Wow.
That was the episode intro!
Yeah, I totally forgot that we hadn't even gotten the intro yet.
It gives new meaning to that drooling there.
Now watch, that's not going to be brought up again. That was just for before the OP, and then we're going to go into the actual episode. Just that bit of sort of school world building, you know.
I have to know if that was filler or not. Like, was that something from the manga?
If that was filler, that is how you do filler.
Yeah.
Like watch, that was like a little bit of like factoid information on like a chapter, like, you know, on like a chapter, and then they're like
to explain some things regarding
to explain it, and then it's like, let's make a whole little bit off of that.
Why not? Like, yeah. Alive, he says you kiss my name when the music's over. Turn out the lights, it's such a sweet time. My friend, let's start the overtime. And through the night, going through the blue time. You heard that to shout in your mind. Going through the shine, going over the shooting stars. What I was talking about was music.
I know I say it every time, but we need to see that happen.
Oh, Haru. The flowers. Whoa.
This is beautiful.
Oh. Oh.
We're getting backstory.
Okay.
Spring of her first year, before she developed a reputation, maybe?
Oh! Whoa! Whoa.
They both hadn't heard of each other.
Oh.
And that's how they were able to, get close.
Whoa. So his antlers are fake. Dang.
Or he's gonna make fake antlers to...
Well,
the ones now.
Gotcha. You're a little Bambi! Yeah, we're getting at that, yeah.
Dazzling and pitiful.
Dang. Nice little callback to their backstory. So how long ago was that, though? Is this her second year? Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
The picture gets even more detailed for Louis now. Oh.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait, so this is present?
Oh.
Legosi 君なんっていうか何この状況
Whoa.
会いたくて来ただけなので。今なんて。ルイ先輩も戻ります？
I love the way they do the double paneling alongside each
Yeah.
other when they're having these reactions to things here.
こんなことってあるのか。
Yeah.
神とウサギだぞ。でもこいつと春が寝てるとは思えないし。
And you'd be right that he's not. So yeah.
春も晴れ
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
待ってもらえないからって。何してすみません。
He already knows now.
Right.
Yeah.
じゃあ、じゃあ。お前こそ好きな女とかいないのか。
And going from, yeah.
そういう、なんかまたでかくなった。ああ、成長期早く。
It's because he's not hunching down as much anymore either.
Yeah.
ようになってしまった。
Oh no, no, it's okay.
Because he doesn't want to be a big bad wolf.
Yeah.
怖い。爪伸びたな。
Hey!
元気が出るおまじないです避けられてる気がして実は隕石祭のダンス私だけ知らない間に役が決められてたんです
Ooh.
あ
だから振り付け見てもらえませんか
Oh. Ah.
見てたから少しならアドバイスできるかも。
じゃあ今お願いします
Well, we're getting a dance scene.
ワン、
ここがいつもわからなくて
俺も踊ったことないからわからないけど。
Just to make it like really obvious.
で、肘を上げて。
やっぱりこの人本当にめちゃくちゃかっこいいよ
Oh my god.
先輩
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
No, he has no idea. But
胸がドキドキしてなのに安心するんですレゴシ先輩と触れ合うと
あ、わかるよ。
oh no.
2年になったら生態学で勉強するよ。
Oh my god.
おはようございます。
Oh, honey. Oh. Oh wait, did he find it?
僕には幼馴染がいるんですよ。長い付き合いで。
Yeah, he found the mag.
他でハリネズミの男子とぶつかって。
Oh, Jack.
立派な青年に成長したかと思いきやとってもないと変なんでウサギのエロ本はあこれ特殊性
Wow.
I love you, Jack. I love you so much.
僕はこれからもお前を疑って気持ち悪かったりとか絶対にしない約束する好きなもんは好きなんだもんなメスウサギだろうが昆虫だろうが頼むから絶句するなら口閉じて梅干しのなって
Oh, he's such a good boy. Tell him the story. Tell him what happened.
Not the full story, but yeah.
あるウサギの女の子と
Yeah. Good.
混乱してて。
好きなんじゃないのその子のこと
He's like, I don't know.
息も絶え絶えで。
Oh,
いいことばかり。
it's confusing.
Wow.
Oh.
何や。好きなんかじゃないよ。俺の勘違いだったんだ。
そう
Oh.
自分を抑え込むのはな。
No, come on.
Don't worry. This festival will
向いている。
change things. Get things set up. And Haru.
Yep. She also needs water.
Yep. Don't lose your composure.
レゴシ君よければ少し手伝ってくれない？
どうだろう。演劇部もちょっと忙しくて難しいかもしれない。
そっか、そうだよね。頑張ってね。
Okay, good. No. She's just saying like things are normal. Yeah, that was the right thing to do. You can say no.
正しい距離。きっと保てる。
No, but they're talking. That's good. That's good. Familiarity.
今日は役所チームも練習ないはずだぜ。
So how does this make you feel? Oh.
先輩とハルさんは友達なんですか？彼女はなんで？いや、特に何も。
Oh crap. Oh crap.
This is
Legoshi.
why you don't repress.
気も怠惰で切羽詰まって苦しいこと。
Whoa.
今こんなにはっきりと分かってしまったんだ。
Oh.
俺は君が
The red in his eyes.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
All right.
This is good. Like, this is... Oh. This is gonna hurt, though.
Yep.
This is not going to go
This
well.
is why it is very important to be both honest with others and honest with yourself.
Right. Yeah, because this isn't necessarily still love.
Sure.
It could be just jealousy. It's desire, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's actually the tricky thing, is that when you think about desire, it's something that's extremely powerful potentially, but there's a lot of things you just casually desire that don't really like arrest your body in the way that it's happening for him.
Yeah.
But because there's so much of an instinctive thing in this, in addition to the potential of the actual love,
Right.
it's yeah. There are problems. Nice.
Awareness of your own limitations. It's important.
Yeah.
And just yourself in
And
general.
just processing, your own feelings, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh my god. So there's so many things I want to talk about this episode. Did you feel me?
Yeah.
Like-
there were a lot of different tones this episode, depending on where you were in the episode. But at the beginning,
we got one of the funniest, weirdest, probably also one of the most, I would say, fun ways to go into world building.
sure,
But also just kind of remind us that we're in a school, so we can have an infinite number of characters that could be given focus at any given time.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have this character who's
man, Legom. So,
the sounds that she made when she like took pleasure in the fact that he was consuming my eggs. Her eyes like rolling back in her head, like practically the only thing that was missing was her tongue hanging out for like an ahegao like face and stuff.
hen ahegao, ahengao. That but also one of the things that's really helpful there, because we had a really serious episode last episode.
True. That's
So
true.
starting it off with a bunch of levity, especially considering how this episode ended, very, very helpful here to just get us laughing and be like, yep, this is
Comfortable.
great. Comfortable, right?
Ready to accept whatever comes
happens.
next. Which,
It did
my
its
God.
job. Like it made me forget the OP. The Beastars OP
did.
is like
amazing.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like every time I see Legoshi smile and wagging his tail and everything, like I get so happy inside.
You're right.
So
the,
happy.
The sun, the light coming out. Yeah, it's wonderful.
So the fact that I forgot about that I was going to be getting that because of just Legom and her dedication.
oh my God, yes.
Like-
the earnest duty and hard work and the idea that, no, I'm not doing this for others. I'm doing this for myself.
Me. Yep.
Like, even though she has to then lie to her friend and be like, I'm doing this for the sake of all other chickens. For the no. You're doing this because you enjoy seeing.
You enjoy them being like, yeah, you know my eggs are the best. Like, And the whole thing of, as you know, I'm delicate. When like she's noticeably like thicker in the neck and head than the other chicken that she's talking to.
Right. She comes from good stock.
Yep. Like it was making me think of in Chicken Run when you've got like what was her name? Bunty, yeah. Who's like this chicken that's like muscly, right? You know,
she's thick.
She's thick, and she pops out good eggs and lots of them, right?
Oh yeah.
But like that was totally the image that I had in my head. So then when she said like, as you know, I'm delicate, I'm like, oh God, yes, I love you,
honey. Sure you are.
Yep.
No, the only thing delicate about her are her sensibilities with regards to when she sees someone tasting her byproducts.
Yep.
Which, like, I love that they made it funny because I, in the previous few episodes ago, had revealed my lack of knowledge with regards to how eggs are primarily distributed, through the food industry.
Yeah.
And no, it's not that gross and dark, Caleb, but I love that they brought it up in this context, and instead of making it a dark thing, they're like, no, this is hella funny.
Yeah,
like
it's the fact that she's high school part-time job, like.
Right. I sell my eggs.
Yep, there you go.
I mean, it's wonderful. Anyways, moving on. There's so much I want to say, but anyway, the OP was great, but we got very quickly into the dynamics of, okay, Louis has a lot more going on in his character than what we're made aware of. Haru has a lot more going on in her character than we're made aware of.
This show keeps blowing me away, and that whole sequence where Haru is like running through the woods.
She was almost like stumbling though.
Yeah.
Like she didn't seem like she had any energy. She's like, please, can I cling on to something?
Right. And everything's just disappearing and whatnot. Like thematically it's amazing, but visually, holy shit. Like
that was really good.
Like that was gorgeous. That was absolutely gorgeous. It's something where the show did not like maybe there was some different style in the manga that made it like clearly very different. So it's like, hey, when you do this in the anime, you're gonna need to do it differently. Yeah. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But I could totally see, barring that exception, I could totally see it where, they go through the production and they're like, this is going to be really tough to do. There's a lot of detail here and things like that. It's something different than what we're used to and everything. We have the models for the characters already or whatever, things like that, right? And they end up, and they could have just not done it in this style. And I wouldn't have noticed. We wouldn't have noticed, right? But this is just gorgeous.
Yeah, there's elements of it that remind me of a watercolor painting.
With like
except for there's actually
drawings.
Yeah, there's also some pencil drawings and stuff like that as well.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but it's really good. I love the idea that also what's rather funny about this in a kind of a dark, kind of depressing way is that she's looking for some measure of solitude in this forest. Is there any warm or loving place for me here? Put aside branches as I might, there's just no exit to be found.
Right.
Then she grabs a hold of his antlers, which at this point, we don't know that they're fake.
Well, and this is something...
Okay, let me finish here.
Yeah.
The idea that she's grasping onto something that doesn't have actual roots. It's something that was implanted there to give him the look of, a strong, capable male deer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And she knows that they're fake. So when she grabs hold of them, it's like her saying, I want to rely on you. And then she kind of has that moment of where she's like she literally feels them up in a oh, right, those things. And she's like, oh, sorry. That sorry could mean she's saying right,
play a little bit more.
You're sensitive around that area or something, and then they just go and continue.
Yeah, okay. Because one of the things I was wondering is that just something that she saw of him in a temporary moment of vulnerability when they met back in her first year of high school?
No, this is present.
This is present, right?
Right.
So that means
this is what Legosi smelled. That's why I was freaking out when I'm like, dude, he already knows. He's smelling Haru all over.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. But because I wasn't sure if with the deer antlers, if it was something where like, oh yeah, they shed or whatever. I hadn't really thought about that. Okay. And that this was just something where it was poorly timed, whatever. I need my fakes so that I can keep up appearances until they grow back in or whatever, right? Or no, he actually still has fake antlers.
He might still have fake antlers. You're right. It's not definitive that they're fake, but I just see some very interesting symbolism potential if they're fake.
Well,
because it's something where she's not still perfectly at ease with him. She enjoys him. She, in fact, might even love him, but he is someone that might not be capable strength-wise of actually being who she needs.
Well, and
we don't know exactly who or what she needs.
But as far as the antlers thing, I think you're right, because the fact that she was like, "Oh, sorry," is like another thing of like, yes, that's a sensitive area. It's sore subject too, but also just potentially a sore area, which then is a representation of the sore subject and everything.
Which is something that he said in the beginning. Is it one of your virtues that you don't bring up those kinds of things?
Right. Which given the fact that also with the transition from that wonderful sort of like drawn, painted, like scenery, it was the trees and they kept going away, and then the trees transitioned into the antlers and the trees are not stable and things like that. It's great.
Right. Because this is probably the closest thing to that warm feeling of being safe and in a place that she can be
right, because they were both
loved.
Nobody to each other when they first met, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was great, because then it shows that there is something to their dynamic, beyond just sort of convenience or whatever, right?
Yeah. There's a reason why they've stayed together.
Yep.
And she made the distinction that was when she was in her first year, which means that I'm sorry if we've been told this already at this point, but she's at the very least a second year, maybe a third year. I guess we'll see.
I want to say they're third years.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, no. In some ways, the only person who I'm pretty sure we know is a third year actually is Louis, because everyone calls him Louis Senpai.
Oh yeah, no, maybe they are, or maybe at the very least Legosi is a second year, because I seem to recall it being something where he was 1 year ahead of Juno, who was a first year.
Well, yeah. We know Juno's a first year,
right?
We know Legosi is older than her, but I don't know if we've been told Haru's age. That's the question,
right?
I don't.
Yeah,
we probably were told that we can go back and check.
Given the fact that this wouldn't be her first year, because she's been at the school for a while.
Right. My point is that the relationship has lasted a year.
It's lasted. It's lasted the test of time for quite a while.
Right.
And through all of the stuff that Haru has had to deal with the persecution and the bullying from the other people in the school and the reputation that she has.
So the question is. What does this mean within regards to the fact that they're in a relationship of some kind? Is this just how Haru is? Is this an open relationship?
Well,
is this one where it's something where, because of the way that Louis said, is like, oh, she's just having her fun with him? What an unfortunate guy. The way Louis mentioned that later gives me the vibe that Louis is very much aware of what she does in addition.
Oh, yeah, right. Because he was like, is she sleeping with him? Oh, no, there's no way.
Right, but he's aware that she is sleeping around.
Yeah. And, it's something where, because the whole idea of Louis meeting up with Haru, I was like, okay, this is probably something where it needs to be kept secret. Like originally when it was brought up, because he wants to maintain his image and all that stuff, and she has the negative image, and that's why it's sort of like a nice conundrum, the opposites attract whatever, with the two of them. But
okay, yeah.
Then there's also this thing of apparently he's already engaged because of his family status and things like that.
Right. Yeah. Let's bring that up here. So he is basically not only someone who is burdened. We get to see in his backstory with her, I believe that's where it's shown, where you swear that you won't breathe a word of this. My antlers fell off. You've been too self-conscious. It'll take about 10 days to construct a fake pair of antlers. Let me use this place for 10 days. And then 2 days later, they're bit there. Then we go back to the present.
Right.
Since I need to take, it's the duty of young men to continue the lineage. Gotcha. Since I need to take over as the head of the family, I already have a fiance. Oh, I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
He's engaged to a deer.
Right.
The reason why he was pecking at Legosi is like, hey, stay in your lane. Go get a wolf. He's projecting. He's basically saying, you can't have this weird thing that I maybe would like to have.
Sure. Well, and that's one of
you
the...
need to, just be happy with what's in front of you.
And which is also interesting because if you think about the antlers, like, because for some reason I had the idea that antlers never really fell off of deer.
Okay, it is a part of the maturation process.
Right, and that's
like teeth. I believe it's like baby teeth falling out. In that they will regrow.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that's how it works.
Okay. Right.
I'm not sure. I can Google this
because I always thought that it was something where like the bigger the antlers, the older the deer, right? And that was sort of like a thing where you could be like, that deer's been been around for a while. It's an old buck. He's got like it branches how many times or things
my
like
phone,
that.
if you will, over there. I wanna check this out.
But one of the things that's interesting here is that this is something where, one, it was a forced area of vulnerability with Louis and Haru, as opposed to decided vulnerability, right? Which is what I was originally thinking, which is why I thought their dynamic was going to be really interesting, right? Since it's that dichotomy of him being the popular one and then being with the unpopular girl and stuff, or the pariah.
Deer shed their antlers every year.
Oh, okay.
It's a winter thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So that means he has real antlers now.
Yeah,
and that was just something for back then. Okay, because that was one of the things that I was thinking, like, wait, that could be really interesting if it's something where he doesn't have any antlers. Like that would feel very sort of emasculating, like disempowering for him as a deer, where he's like the perfect stand-up like model deer, but his antlers actually aren't there or something. And the whole idea of him being forced into a marriage and forced to take over the family and things like that, that puts a whole new color onto the idea that he needs to feel powerful and feel like the carnivore, in a sense.
It works even more with what you're saying here because the main purpose of antlers is to attract female deer for mating.
Wow.
Whoa.
So, and when he didn't have any of that, that's when she saw him and she accepted him. So, so I love this. This is fantastic.
This is really good.
But it also goes a bit deeper onto Louis' whole thing of where did this come from in the first place? Because even when he was in his moments of weakness, he still seemed to be that kind of, paragon almost, if you will, of wanting to have it all, right? Wanting to be the powerful deer, the apex predator within the school, whatever, in the society. But if this is something that he's being forced into doing, of continuing the family lineage, legacy, all of that stuff, taking over the business, then that's something where he is feeling trapped, I'm guessing, right? And he's wanting to take some ownership wherever he can because he still feels like a cornered animal, which is totally different than our perspective of him up till now.
Right. And you know what's another thing that might be causing this? One of the other reasons why deer might lose their antlers is because they were fighting other males to show their dominance in order to get a mate. So what his family might be putting him through is like, in this utopia society, it's not that they just hit each other like barbaric animals. No, it's sanctioned. It's like clear the living room.
Sure. Well,
another family of import comes in,
right,
and they put their sons against each other and just go, do it.
Well, another thing I could
act out your nature. And Louis lost.
Well, and it could also be him going up against Dad. Because
sure.
Now maybe this is like, maybe I'm being influenced by other stories that I've seen that sort of do this kind of angle with it and things.
That's potential. It's potential.
If Louis feels like a cornered animal, right? And he's trying to take back control wherever he can, right? Which also explains why he's so pissed at Legosi, because Legosi is the one that should be able to assert himself whenever he wants, and he doesn't. Right. And it absolutely tears him up inside and makes him hate the sight of Legosi sometimes.
Because he hates him. It makes him hate himself.
Because he hates himself, right? And he's saying, you have everything that I wish I had. Why don't you do it? And
Right.
if that was something where he tried to say stand up to, his dad or whoever it is that is doing it and say, he stood up in a more physical way and then they clashed antlers and his antlers broke off, that would also be something where he was at his most vulnerable, not just physically, but emotionally and everything when Haru found him. Which would put even more weight onto their relationship.
I
and everything.
love that we're going deep into this theory thing here. I think we're a bit off in the woods, though, at this point, pun intended. We need to come back to the safe place with Haru in the woods here and discuss the fact that this is something where she is not happy. Like, the fact that Legosi and Louis are kind of in this situation with her. I want to know, what are your thoughts on why she came and specifically kind of did the little flirting thing with him? Was that something where she was specifically trying to gauge where he's at so that she can kind of keep tabs? Or is this a thing of where she's like, hey, we're good, right? Right?
Yeah.
Because I will say, asking someone to say yes to something where they'll help you and kind of using that as like a test gauge thing, I'm really glad, just to say, I'm really glad Legosi didn't help. Personally.
So what I get the feeling, and let me know what you think about this, right? Is that by her going to Legosi there, if we take within the context of this episode and what Haru has had, right? She really loves Louis, right? But it can't work, right? Because he's already engaged and things like that, and it can't go anywhere long term and stuff. So they're already on borrowed time.
And they're just kind of enjoying that.
And they're enjoying it, but
that makes sense.
But they need to wake up from the dream eventually. The stability, the trees will disappear from underneath Haru's fingertips.
So is she planning her exit strategy?
Well, potentially. Basically, that because Legosi is so demure, right, with most of how he interacts with her, she's saying this is a place maybe where there won't be any complications. This is maybe a place where I can feel safe or something.
No complications? I feel like that's a bit much.
She's pretty good at handling complications.
I don't know. I think she really was kind of weirded out by the whole, he's not only a wolf.
Well,
but
right. That was earlier. She seemed to have reconciled with that, but we haven't seen too much from her perspective regarding that fact since then, so I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
But it seems like she was seeking emotional stability, basically. Like, because she absolutely loves it when Louis, comes up and gives her the head pat and everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
But that can't always
happen.
Last. That can't last.
Sure. That's something to think about. Okay. We have Juno in the mix now, too. And we didn't really mention her. One of the things that I like about what Juno brings up here is the fact that it's a reminder to Legosi that he's not alone. Now, one of the tricky things I would say with where Legosi's at is that while we were reminded in multiple ways and iterations, like with Jack as well, that Legosi's not alone, you have to be willing to ask for help. You have to be willing to be vulnerable and engage with them.
Make yourself alone.
Exactly. So to mirror Jack and Juno, these were two very kind-hearted people seeking not necessarily the same thing, but a form of connection with Legosi. And there was an awkwardness surrounding both of them, but there was very much a response from Legosi that was similar, in that it was like, yes, with one hand, I am accepting you. With the other hand, I am keeping you at a distance.
Right.
So this is Legosi's main problem that he's had, is that he is internally conflicted, like any good main character.
Right.
So therefore, these characters will constantly be our insight into where he's at on that growth.
Right.
And right now we see, okay, because he didn't have the equivalent of a dark market, really intense emotional experience, which has kind of opened him up and laid him bare, he doesn't have an Aoba moment with them.
Right.
He doesn't show much vulnerability.
Well, and that was one of the things
thus he ends up being a little callous, especially with Juno.
Yep. And that was one of the things that I really liked that the panda guy brought up, is that you need to accept this part of yourself. If you don't, bad things happen, either to you or to others or both.
Right. And that's the part of being a carnivore.
Right. Even
that instinct.
like
Not the
Bill
part with
has
Haru.
that. Even right. But even Bill has that better figured out than Legosi.
Oh, he definitely does.
Right.
Definitely.
Because he's at least in balance. There's no conflict about that part. There's the conflict about where he takes it. But not that he's handling it. You know?
Exactly.
Like, so
it's the difference between being a static character and a proactive character. Louis is making mistakes as he is proactive, but he's moving. Legosi is in some ways a little bit
he's
stumbling.
afraid to move.
Well, no, I would say in some ways he stumbled into being a reactive character, which is better than being a static character. So in that regard, he has to decide in some ways, how do you want to feel about these things?
And that's what's great.
And that's what's so good, because then the episode ended with the most like horrible iteration of how this could have gone, which is the typical, I trusted you.
Yeah.
And it's not the thing of where he's mad at Louis or Haru. It's he's mad at them and himself and at the fact that this whole thing happened.
Complicated mess. And
I loved the visual of him.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
like
that was so good.
That's something where a lot of the time, and I've been in this situation too, where I would want to make sure that I could bear it all. Right. You know, like no matter what happens, I got this. Right.
Yeah.
You know, like because I might not have control over what other people do, but I've got control over what I do. Right. You know, you're right. On a good day, you do.
On a very good day, you do.
And you can get it to the point where even it's most days.
Environment is stronger than willpower.
Right. Yeah. But most days are not the problem. The outliers are the problem, right? So in this situation, because Legosi wasn't honest with himself, because he's like, I'll just repress it. I'm good at it. And
he literally like acknowledged it.
Yeah, that's he's going back to repression, right? So and I love when the themes of the show and the characters are able to be brought up in such a on the nose way.
Overt,
right, but it works because it's just
right.
So now I'm really worried about what's going to happen next because if Louis doesn't have if Legosi doesn't have some good feedback off of whatever happens from this situation, he won't necessarily realize that this is a result of the repression. He'll just think, I need to get better at repression because clearly there was some issue and I didn't do it good enough, right? Like the fact that he had that crazy experience with Haru at the beginning of the show and that we didn't get any build up to that, it's just that happened. That's the result of the repression. You can't do that forever, right? You need to figure out some way to make it work and find some balance. Otherwise, eventually, the scales will keep tipping little bit by little bit.
Yeah, I don't care how good those egg sandwiches are, man.
Right, exactly. Yep. You know, maybe they're just not that good on Wednesday anymore. And then, so...
It's actually really funny because right now with the whole quarantine and everything like that, like I don't have one of my weekly routines anymore, which was Rec League of Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah.
I did that 3 to 5 times a week, every week for the last 4 years. That changes my own, not only mental state, but there's physiological changes that have happened in me in just the 3 months where like my body is different because of that. So Legosi, if you don't build good patterns with this, I don't care how many wonderful little seasonal little wonderful things happen. Oh, it could all just be gone like that.
And don't rubber band back because
well that's how human beings grow though.
But
we rubber band back too hard and then we realize, oh shoot, because I'm gonna break if I keep doing this.
Right, because the previous snap you had was almost eating Haru. This one is another one that's not quite as extreme. It's in a bit of a different angle, right?
I think the worst thing that he could do is he could become basically...
Yeah.
It could get way worse.
The rubber band snaps will tend to get worse the longer this continues.
Right.
So,
because the rubber band has only a certain amount of elasticity.
Yep.
And then, like underwear, it eventually just gives up. It's just like, I'm done carrying your ass.
Oh man. But like,
and yeah, there's only so much good boy energy from Jack that can be, given the help here. I would really like to see a moment though where he basically howls at the moon, goes out, finds a place like that, goes into one of his, one of those environments like they were setting up from the beginning where the wolves kind of go under the equivalent of like a moonlit sky and kind of get their moment there. I would love to see him just have a moment where he like
actually cuts loose and
not like completely cuts loose, but he basically just lets out a guttural sound of frustration. And one of the older wolves comes up and goes, "That's good. Yeah. Do that again. Don't let this be the only time." Right. I would love to see the equivalent of an adult in some area of the situation. Although I think it's actually a little bit more of a darker world. The fact that they're choosing to not show too many adults, just in general.
Oh, gotcha.
Of any depth, really.
Right.
And because there's hard truths that they probably had to accept that don't help usually a struggling teen.
Yeah.
Because
Panda Man is the exception, dude. Like...
Yes, but we didn't really get much depth. Well, no, we did get depth with him, but I meant, what I'm talking about.
Well, and that's not something that Legosi or any of the kids really will always have. One of the reasons why I think high school settings work really well, other than just the fact of high school, right?
Nostalgia,
is the idea that, especially if it's focused on you don't show as much of the family life, right? Which is common in these sort of stories with this age group of the characters. Is that then the characters feel a bit more cut off from the umbilical cord, from the family, from the people who have, a lot of things figured out, even if not everything figured out. So you have to figure things out on your own, right? Yep. Which is kind of what growing up is about, right? Totally. Figuring out where you stand and everything. But in this situation specifically, because Legosi is dealing with some very tough stuff, and we don't get to see anybody that is mentoring him or whatever. We don't get to see home life with like, a dad or whatever that's like,
he doesn't go there. He stays at the school.
Yeah.
It's one of those schools where it's...
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's a boarding school. So,
Well, that is part of my thing about... when I said we haven't seen any adults, I wasn't really counting the Panda Man because... in some ways, he was trying to push something so much that we didn't actually maybe see as much depth as I would have liked.
Like his base state when no one's around kind of a thing?
Or just maybe more just with regards to his struggles and stuff. But the fact that these kids get sent to this school at all, doesn't that seem like something that's, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from the U.S. or what have you, and schooling is a little bit more free here and stuff with regards to like how you choose to school your kids. Like the fact that there might be some kind of compulsory aspect to not only like that they get schooled,
making sure that they get schooled in a certain way so that way that
they fit in very nicely. I would say that just makes sense, doesn't it?
Right.
You can't have just regular carnivores getting raised out there in the wild. And who knows what could happen?
And granted, this is us from the U.S. where, like, school uniforms weren't even really a thing, much less boarding schools, as our experience.
It's not really a thing. If it is, it's for, like, probably wealthy elite kids.
Exactly, And maybe that's kind of the school that this is, where it's like a super prep school or something. That's
possible,
And that's why Louis here,
Right.
But,
Yeah, in general over here, it's just like, you're on your own. Just kind of figure it out. You know, you can do school in a couple different ways and stuff. But we had a unique situation with regards to that. So, but wow, great episode, setting up some more stuff. I love how this show does setup episodes because there's very clearly in a lot of shows that time where you're like, setup episode, and you kind of give it a little bit of a breather in that regard.
Right. You sort of put up with it because there's a good cliffhanger.
Right. Yeah. This show went into so many new things and even had fun with it.
Yeah.
With regards to having it be a setup episode. So,
Jack and Legom.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Also, I gotta say, the choice of voice that they had, the Seiyu for Legom, she did a fantastic job.
I take my eggs very seriously.
Right. She sounded 35.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet, I don't care at all. Like,
the mind of a 35-year-old in a 17-year-old.
Do you remember in The Promised Neverland when, what's her name arrives?
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
She reminds me in some ways of her.
Kind of.
In a very like not as creepy way.
Yeah, way less creepy.
Way less creepy, but the same level of humor actually.
Right. Well, and high energy in its own way, you know, and the sturdier type of character design, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think it's the over dramatic passion with regards to how they express their emotions.
Over dramatic passion in ways that's a bit weird, right? And what a bit weird means definitely varies between the two characters, right? But yeah.
But y'all, this is a great episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. It's really awesome, and if you're interested, it's on Amazon. Link is in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.